Hey guys, it's Steve Melia, and I am live here on Facebook, and I apologize if I'm not holding the camera as steady as it could be. I'd like to have a tripod, and I'm here with my buddy Danny Boulin. Danny is the owner of... Dan, why don't you tell everybody what the name of your business is?
Gator Fence.
Gator Fence, like an alligator, like Gator Fence. And if you say it out loud, it's gate or fence. So very creative. You come up with that yourself?
I did come up with that myself.
Awesome. Well, today we're going Facebook Live. My name is Steve Melia, and this is day 3 of a 30-day run that we're doing, and I'm calling it 30 Ways, 30 Days. 30 ways for 30 days that you can enhance your life, maybe step up your game, improve your situation, whatever you want to call it. And we're tackling different topics every day. And so today we're going to talk about a philosophy, an idea called the slight edge philosophy. You've also heard it called the simple edge. You've heard it called the compounded effect. All things that are really an integral part of this whole philosophy that we're going to talk about here today. And just sort of as a review, yesterday we talked about the law of associations and how powerful the law of associations are and the impact that they can have in your life. And Danny, would you agree with that's an important topic?
Absolutely. It's one of probably the most important things I learned when I started, on a path of personal development, is that the people you hang around with is, that's the type of person you become. The people that you spend the most time with, you have the same philosophies, you have the same attitudes, and you can surround yourself with positive people and have a positive philosophy, or you can surround yourself with negative people and have a negative philosophy. And for me, that's probably been the biggest game changer in my life, was associating with the right people. Absolutely.
I want to say hey to Tristan, and my buddy Timmer from Chicago is on. Jim Raines, good to see you, buddy. Jim, there was a great show last night in D.C. You probably caught it online. Wayne, hey Wayne, good to see you, buddy. Nate, my buddy Chip is on, and Jamie Morales. I see Tom Emery as well. I want to welcome everybody. It's a little sunny here, guys. I'm going to put on my sunglasses. We're heading down I-95. Actually, we're on 295 if you want to be specific because of traffic. But we're headed south for the holidays. I know many of you are traveling today as well. So I think today's the most travel day of the year in the United States. And so if you're traveling somewhere, be safe. Danny is fully in charge of driving, and I'm fully in charge of this Facebook Live. And, Danny and I have been buddies for, 12 years?
12 years.
Something like that. And he really is a great example of the idea that I'm going to talk about today, and that's called the slight edge philosophy. First of all, let's talk about what the slight edge is. There's actually a book written by a friend of mine, Jeff Olson, and a very similar kind of idea, a book written by Darren Hardy. So both very almost interchangeable ideas. And the idea is it's the little things that you do that seem to make no difference, the act of doing them. But the compounded effect will lead to your success or your failure. So if you're sort of following me here and you see a straight line and one sort of takes off like an airplane and the other one does exactly the opposite, and so the people on the slight edge in a positive direction are doing the simple disciplines every day. They're doing those little things that just the act of doing them alone is not necessarily bringing them a ton of success, but it's doing it for a long time. And I've heard, it's been said, many ways that really all success is, it's developing successful habits. And, Earl Nightingale once said that success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And so today we're going to talk about that. And so again, if you can just sort of picture, one way going this way, the other way going that way, and the people that are successful in most of the areas of their life, it's not a lot of people. It's probably like 5%. So it means like 95% of people are not doing those simple disciplines every day. What are they doing? They're making simple errors in judgment. And so again, if you look at the top, about 5% up there, but the challenging part of being part of the top 5% is that 95% are constantly trying to yank you or nudge you off course. For instance, if you're reading a positive book like Think and Grow Rich, I remember when I first started reading that kind of stuff, Dan, people would say to me, are you rich yet? And stuff like that. Or if you all of a sudden decide you want to be healthy, the people that aren't healthy are giving you a hard time. And why is it? Because maybe they're not happy with their own lack of progress. Who knows why it is? I wouldn't necessarily study that topic, but you want to separate yourself from the masses. I've always found that if you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're probably going in the wrong direction, right? So let's talk a little bit about the slight edge. The people, the 5% that are making things happen, who these people are, the doers and the shakers. They're not sitting around, blaming their circumstances. They're not blaming the government, they're not blaming their job, they're not blaming their boss, they're not blaming the economy. But isn't that what a lot of people do, Dan? Isn't that what the 95% of people do?
Absolutely. I think a lot of it is a lot of times people focus on the results and the actions that they take to get those results. But really what I learned when I first got into this business, when I first started on a path of personal development, was that it's the little things that matter. It's how you think about the things that you do and your attitude while you're doing it. It's your philosophy creates your attitude. And if you do those same exact actions with a better attitude, you get better results. And I've seen that happen almost 100% of the time.
Hey, Dan, you just got a shout out from John Wynn at Carolina Beach. John, we were just talking about you a few minutes ago. Mike Bishop has joined us. My buddy, Milan Waters. Sorry, the car's shaking here. Can you stop driving so fast? Vet Brooks is on. Good to see you. And just great. A lot of you know Danny and I have been friends for years and haven't seen Danny, so it's good, if nothing else, to catch up here on Facebook Live. So, the top 5%, let's go back to that. They live a life of responsibility. If you look at the word responsibility and you break it down, Stephen Covey talks about this in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It means you have the ability to respond how you want to. So when you take full responsibility in your life, it's so empowering because you can say good or bad or indifferent, I am where I am today because of the choices and decisions that I've made in my life after, say, the last 5 years. And you're either, in a time right now in your life where you're reaping and you're like, man, all the hard work and everything is really paying off, or maybe you're complaining about your crop, if you will. And Dan, as you sow, so shall you reap. If you want to reap in the fall, you got to plant in the spring. Would you agree with that? That's some old Jim Rohnisms.
Absolutely. And then you got to kill the weeds, and you got to nourish, and you got to fertilize, and you got to continue to nourish that so it continues to grow. One of the things that you said it seems to make no difference at all is when I first started on personal development, they said, if you just do something as simple as reading 10 pages of a good book every day, doesn't seem to make any difference at all. After 30 days, not a big difference. After 60 days, not a big difference. But after 1 year, if you did that 365 times, that's about 3,650 pages, maybe 10 to 12 good books. Compound that over, 10 years, 15 years. Someone like yourself, Steve, that's been doing this consistently for over 20 years now, that's really what makes all the difference in the world. It's those little things that compound over time and they make everything happen.
Absolutely. You're hearing from Danny Boulin. Danny's the owner of Gator Fence in Carolina Beach, but they have a business that spans all the way up into North and South Carolina. And Dan, I know that, just some slight edge things about making phone calls every day. As somebody that is looking to gain new business and new business, how many phone calls? What's your goal of how many phone calls that you want to make every day for your business?
100. 100 is the number, and it varies. Those are calls coming in, those are calls to my guys, those are calls to suppliers, those are calls for new work. But really what I found is that if I'm engaged all the time, if I'm engaged all day long, if I'm constantly in communication with my team, it just makes all the difference. You really, it doesn't seem to make it while you're doing it. But, at the end of the day, you've made, 30, 40 different contacts. You've been involved in, 30, 40 different things. And that's really where the massive results start to happen.
Sounds great. People at the top percent of this slight edge, the 5%, if you will, they have what we call a positive mental attitude, PMA, right? And the people on the bottom of the slight edge that are exercising simple errors and judgments, we joke around that they positively have a mental attitude, right? But it does. It all starts with your attitude, because if you have the right philosophies and then you have the right attitude, you're more likely to take consistent action that's going to get you to where your goal is and you want to be. So again, the first thing is living a life of responsibility. What's opposite that? Of living a life of blame. And so again, you want to be really careful about complaining and blaming other people, and just taking full responsibility for the good things and the bad results that you've had in your life or you're having at this point. We also talked about having a positive mental attitude versus positively having a mental attitude, and then really just looking at certain specific behaviors. Like if you want to be more successful in your field, whether you're in sales or marketing, would you agree that reading 10 pages of a good book every single day, now the first 10 or 20 or 30 or 40 pages might not make a difference, but if, like Danny said earlier, if you're somebody that does that consistently over and over and over again, you're going to see dramatic effects, not right away, but down the road. And that's the whole idea, is that you're working today for tomorrow. I once heard it said that if you'll do today what others don't, you can have tomorrow what others won't. And that's the whole idea, like delayed gratification. making sure that everything matters. I think that's one of the main philosophies of the Slight Edge, is that everything matters. You know, people on the bottom side of the Slight Edge, they might say, well, we'll do it tomorrow. Procrastination is not the same as everything matters. Make today count. So just want to see who else we got on. I know Guillermo has joined, Matt Curry, Phil Bigley, Leslie Mays, Ellie, nice to see you again, Kevin Clark. Man, we got Bill from San Diego, Mike, Stacy. We got a lot of folks today, Dan. And so what we're asking you to do, guys, is help me get the word out on these 30 ways for 30 days. If you could just do me a favor and right now just go right down to your Facebook and share this, I would certainly appreciate it. I know some of you have been doing this every single day, but why not? You know, what does it hurt to share a great idea with some new friends, right? And so our whole idea, my idea is my goal, my purpose, my vision is to inspire people to live their dreams, to encourage people to live their dreams. So many of us are living what we call quiet, lives of quiet desperation, is what we've heard it said before. But Dan, I'm going to wrap up because I've got an important conference call here in about 3 minutes. Is there any final thoughts that you'd like to make here on day 3 of 30 ways for 30 days?
I just appreciate the opportunity to be a part of it. And, you were one of the people that was very integral in getting me started on a path of personal development. It's something that's really changed my life. A lot of people on this call as well, or on this Facebook Live, have been impacted by you in the same way. So I just want to say I appreciate it. Hope everybody has an awesome, happy Thanksgiving. Travel safe.
Absolutely. And guys, I'm going to be doing a Facebook Live tomorrow on Thanksgiving. Not going to take Thanksgiving off. And I'm going to have a special tomorrow where if you come on and you share my post, I am going to send you an autographed copy of one of my books. All you got to do is come on tomorrow, share it, and I'm going to send you an autographed copy. I may cover the postage, or I may have you pay the $3.99. I'm not sure how that's going to work, but you're at least going to get a free book, and we'll see what kind of mood I'm in tomorrow when I wake up. But hey, guys, thanks for joining today. There's a couple great books you can check out if you've never seen these before. The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson, Compounded Effect by Darren Hardy. And then if you're not familiar with Jim Rohn, I talked about this yesterday, just go back and listen to anything that Jim Rohn talks about. He's going to talk about what's easy to do is also easy not to do. And really, I could talk about the Slight Edge all day. What's easy to do is also easy not to do. Your health, your relationships, your career, your business, any and everything about your life success is easy if the definition of easy is something that you can do. But guess what? It's easy to wait for tomorrow. It's easy not to do it. It's easy not to exercise. And I'm telling you, that's what makes the champions is they understand the word discipline. Discipline is doing what you said you would do long after the feeling has left you with. That's also been called commitment. But discipline is, weighs ounces if you do it today. But if you weigh, the negative effect is it could weigh tons later. Discipline weighs ounces, regret weighs tons. That's my final thought of today. I'm Steve Melia. Thanks for being part of me, or part of the broadcast today for 30 ways for 30 days. God bless. Bye-bye.